Every Greek soldier who sailed for Troy hoped he'd see his family again. Achilles, or Achilles, was the only one who knew before the ships even left the shore that he was sailing toward his own death. He wasn't just the greatest warrior in the Greek army. His entire story was built around an early grave. And if you look closely at how Greek mythology unfolds, the Trojan War couldn't truly end until Achilles was gone. Because Achilles represented one kind of hero, while the story waiting after Troy needed a completely different one. Before we dive into why, thank you for clicking on this video. If you enjoy mythology and history explained through stories like this, consider leaving a like and subscribing. It really helps the channel and lets me keep making videos like these. Now, back to Troy. Homer's two great epics, the Iliad and the Odyssey, tell parts of the same war, but they're driven by two completely different heroes. Achilles and Odysseus fought side by side for almost 10 years, yet they approached every problem in completely opposite ways. Achilles relied on what the Greeks called via, meaning raw physical force. If something stood in his way, he charged straight through it. He didn't negotiate, he didn't deceive, and he certainly didn't retreat. Odysseus relied on metis, meaning cunning intelligence. He was the man who looked at a fortress and searched for an unlocked gate instead of trying to break down the walls. That difference wasn't just their fighting style, it defined who they were. The Iliad doesn't begin with Achilles winning glorious battles. It begins with him refusing to fight. After Agamemnon publicly humiliates him by taking away his war prize, Achilles abandons the battlefield. He sits inside his tent while his own army is slowly pushed toward disaster. The Greeks had a special word for the destructive rage consuming him: meaning. It's no ordinary anger. It's a godlike fury capable of destroying entire armies. In fact, meaning is the very first word of the entire Iliad, showing that Achilles' anger, not the war itself, is the poem's true focus. Only one thing brings him back. His closest companion, Patroclus, enters battle wearing Achilles' armor and is killed by the Trojan prince Hector. The moment Achilles hears the news, everything changes. He returns to battle knowing exactly what it will cost him. Years earlier, his mother, the sea goddess Thetis, had revealed his fate. He could stay home, live a long and peaceful life, grow old with his family, and eventually be forgotten. Or he could sail to Troy, die young, and earn kleos, the eternal glory that would keep his name alive forever. Achilles chose glory, because to him, living a long but ordinary life was worse than dying with honor. And that's exactly what happened. Although the Iliad ends before his death, later Greek traditions tell how Paris, guided by the god Apollo, strikes Achilles in his only vulnerable spot, his heel. The greatest warrior in Greece is gone, and with him disappears the age of heroes who believed every problem could be solved with a sword. After nearly 10 years of siege, brute force still hadn't conquered Troy. The Greek army was exhausted. The war had reached a stalemate, so the Greeks stopped trying to smash the gates open. Instead, they let Odysseus take control. He didn't defeat Troy through overwhelming strength, he defeated it through deception. Odysseus designed the famous wooden horse, hid Greek soldiers inside it, convinced the Trojans it was a sacred gift, and waited patiently as they carried it through their own gates. That single act succeeded where years of fighting had failed. Troy didn't fall because the strongest warrior charged through its walls. It fell because the smartest man convinced the enemy to open the gates themselves.
With Troy finally destroyed, Greek mythology changes. The story is no longer about winning a war, it's about surviving the journey home. That's where the Odyssey begins. For another 10 years, Odysseus sails across the Mediterranean, battling storms, monsters, shipwrecks, witches, angry gods, and impossible choices. He survives not because he's the strongest man alive, but because he constantly adapts. He disguises himself as a beggar. He lies when the situation demands it. He hides beneath sheep to escape the Cyclops. Sometimes, his greatest weapon isn't his sword, it's patience. Now imagine putting Achilles on that same journey. The Odyssey would probably end before it even began. Achilles wouldn't disguise himself as a beggar. He wouldn't hide beneath sheep. He wouldn't outsmart a Cyclops.
He'd draw his sword, challenge every monster he met, and eventually die trying to win an unwinnable fight. Not because he lacked courage, but because his identity wouldn't allow him to back down. That's why Achilles had to die before the next chapter of Greek mythology could truly begin. His story belongs to a world where honor is worth more than life itself. Odysseus belongs to a world where wisdom matters more than pride, and where surviving to embrace your family is the greatest victory of all. One hero became immortal through death. The other became legendary by finding his way home. And perhaps that's why Homer gave us both, because life sometimes demands the strength of Achilles, but far more often, it rewards the wisdom of Odysseus. If you made it this far, let me know in the comments, whose mindset would you rather have in a real crisis, Achilles or Odysseus? And if you'd like to see how Odysseus used that same brilliant cunning to outsmart the terrifying Cyclops, let me know below.